It's Tom O'Brien here, the Mental Health Herbalist, with a video today with 10 ideas, 10 natural ways that you can defeat depression. This is really important to understand that there are many ways to treat depression, not just one. Unfortunately, many treatments are reductionist. In that sense, they reduce depression to one cause and one solution. And that's called reductionism. It's used often in medicine. It's one of the problems with modern medicine. It's quite reductionist, whereas herbal medicine and natural treatments are holistic. They approach depression, for example, from a holistic perspective. So a holistic perspective will look at it from a physical point of view, a psychological point of view, a mental and emotional point of view, social point of view, lifestyle, exercise, environment, food, etc. There are many aspects to a holistic approach to depression I want you to understand in this video. In fact, life is complex. Social patterns and patterns of life are complex, not simple and not black and white. There is no one angle on any experience. There are multiple angles, multiple perspectives, multiple experiences, and your experience is unique. In order to recover, you need to claim that complexity, the complexity of your life, the complexity of where depression emerged from. Another really important thing to understand about recovery from depression is we need to listen to depression. Sometimes we are too quick to try and suppress it, repress it, get rid of it, treat it, solve it, fix it. But that won't really happen until we listen to what depression is saying to us, telling us what is going on in our life, that we are depressed. We need to listen and accept depression as part of a life experience. If we don't do that, it'll just prolong and we'll have a longer experience of suffering. So by listening to depression, we're listening to the deeper roots of why we are depressed and addressing those roots. So the first tip is to do something rather than do nothing. This is something I heard in a podcast over 10 years ago when I was living in Spain. Do something rather than do nothing. When people are depressed, they feel helpless, stuck in a rut, pessimistic, negative, unable to help, unable to fix. But the start of recovery has to be you claiming your own recovery by doing something rather than nothing. And you can, in the darkest moments, do something. And it's that act is lighting a candle in your life, it's opening a window, pulling back the curtains, going for a walk. Do something rather than do nothing. The second tip is to set yourself a goal. Maybe that goal is to do something. But by setting a goal, we set the intention that I'm in control here. I can do something about my situation and I can recover. By setting small goals, we are setting the intention to recover. There's a lot of research supporting this whole idea of the intention experiment. We put something out into the world, it actually begins to manifest. Some people believe that our thoughts manifest who we are. Our thinking is central to who we become. So we begin to change how we think, change our patterns of thought, change our patterns of behavior. We can begin to change our reality. I love setting goals. I'm a goal-oriented person. Sometimes I set unrealistic goals. Sometimes they are small goals. But I love going back over my goal journal, whatever type of journal I'm using, a happiness journal, and ticking off those goals, knowing that I've achieved something. Now, those small achievements are stepping stones to bigger achievements. We can't achieve big things until we take small steps. Every journey begins with a single step, a first step, as they say. By setting that small goal and doing something, we actually force change. We may not be motivated for change. We may not be motivated to do anything. But by doing it, setting the intention and following it through, we begin to force change. And we will begin to get the payback from that experience, the positive results of actually having done something rather than doing nothing. Number 3 is to move. This is again part of doing something, but physical exercise is really good for us in lots of ways. It helps to clear the mind of negative thoughts. It can actually move the energy in the body and move hormones and endorphins and relieve these positive well-being feelings. And then a good shower afterwards helps us to feel refreshed. So number 4 is to meditate. Meditation is really difficult because most people think about it or start it and then they stop for lots of reasons. Because meditation, when we sit, we are saying, I'm going to stop running. That's the way I see it. When I sit with myself in meditation, my intention is not to run from myself. It's to sit in the present, not to change anything about that present, not to desire anything different in that moment, just to try and face the present. But then the thoughts rise and get us to think about something else, to distract ourselves from the present. So meditation is an intention of facing the truth of ourselves, sitting with ourselves as we are, not as we desire to be, but how we are, and practicing some self-compassion. By sitting longer, we are experiencing a compassion for ourselves, even though it can feel like crap, horrible, and shame-filled thoughts and feelings of self-loathing and all of that. And that's why we stop meditating, because we are forced to sit with ourselves. We're forcing ourselves to sit. We at least desire with the intention to sit. So meditation is the intention to be with ourselves in a self-compassionate way and to be present. It's to stop running. Often deep depression arises from a long time of running from ourselves, mostly running from the hurt and pain that is within us, that we've experienced. I find meditation helps to increase my energy. I don't know why that is. Is it an intense period of breathing deeper oxygen? Am I deepening my breath? I know that if I stay in bed that extra bit, I would still feel tired if I wake up. If I get up early, that extra hour early, and try and do my meditation, I know I have more energy, I'm more focused, more resilient. Mightn't always feel like I'm getting a benefit in the short term, but the longer term is you begin to desire meditation like we desire oxygen or water. Tip number 5 is to stretch. Now this is a bit like the movement exercise one, but it's more on the mat or in a room. You don't need a mat, but on the floor. The idea here is from yoga and from Pilates is that stretching removes tension that is in the body. This tension is from stress and build-up of anxiety in the body. It's held in the muscles. So we get pains, stiffness, and tension. So by moving and stretching beyond we normally do in daily movements, we begin to release that, and that releases that tension, relaxes the muscles, and we begin to feel better. It also helps to earth us. Stretching and yoga movements can earth us. Earthing us is basically realizing that we are here and now on this earth, not running away in our heads, in our brain. We need to be earthed. I think earthing is really important for people who are experiencing depression. And if you want to recover by earthing yourself, you're claiming your roots, claiming yourself in the present moment. Yoga and stretching will add to your routine. The more things you add to your daily routine, the more focused you'll become. You don't have to think about the routine. You've planned it, you've agreed it, you've committed to it, you just do it. You tick it off as you do it. Sometimes you feel good doing it, sometimes you don't, but you keep doing it. You keep going. Don't give up. Tip number 6 is to hydrate. It's something that I'm very bad at myself, and as a result I can suffer extra tiredness. It affects our digestion, our retention, and our whole bowel system, our digestive system. Our whole wellness is affected by hydration. Drinking water or liquids, non-alcoholic ones, hopefully, preferably alcohol is dehydrating. Some teas and coffee are dehydrating, and they're okay to have, but you really need to supplement your daily intake of hydration with water. It makes us feel better. It reduces our sense of hunger, increases our energy, improves digestion, and it's needed for our whole metabolism and well-being. So if you're experiencing depression, try drinking more water and see how you begin to feel. Not drinking water can be a lack of self-care. There can be reasons why we find it hard to drink water, but by drinking water we're nurturing ourselves. It's a self-care routine. You can add some sweeteners, raspberry, strawberry, whatever makes you drink more water, the better. Do what you can to hydrate. So tip number 7 is to eat colours. So when you're eating, is your plate have colour on it, or is it bland and monotonous looking? When you eat with colours, you add different vegetables and fruits to your plate, to your meal. So in every meal you want to have more plant-based foods and reduce your intake of processed and overcooked foods. A lot of Western diet is overly processed with additives, sugars and salts to make it addictive and tasty. However, it's not necessarily the best for us. There's a wealth of research showing that the more natural foods, digestive foods, which help to break down in the gut, that feed our probiotics, the whole microbiome of the gut is a whole living system that needs to be fed with living foods, plant-based foods, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables. This helps to improve digestion, improve uptake of nutrients, improves detoxing toxic cells that need to be cleansed, and promotes well-being, particularly in the gut where there's a lot of serotonin produced, and the whole well-being of the nervous system, eating lots of omega-3s, B vitamins, everything that nurtures the nervous system will help to fight depression. We need fermented foods in there, fermented foods and probiotics, sauerkraut, kombucha, kefir. Eat with colour, add more colour to your plate, to your drinks, to your food, and you will begin to feel better. Tip number 8 is to talk to somebody. A lot of us are isolated, and especially at this time of socialization through COVID-19, we're experiencing a more intense experience of everything, and maybe that's bringing some positive. We're realizing socialization at home is helping us. It can also stress us, realizing that we miss the social connection with others. There's a wealth of research shows that social connection reduces our risk of depression. Therefore, social connection improves our recovery from depression. The more connected we are to other groups and other people, the more socially connected we are, the less exposed we are to depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. But it's also important to talk to somebody about how you feel, whether that be a therapist, a psychologist, or a good friend, somebody that will listen to us with compassion and with empathy, and so we can talk through a solution. Find somebody to talk to, it'll help your recovery, and you'll begin to feel better. Tip number 9 is mindfulness, and a lot of these tips are mindfulness. Eating mindfully, practicing yoga, meditation, it's all part of mindfulness. But particularly, I want to focus here on gratitude. The more we focus on the positive and the good things in our life, the more we begin to see positive and good things. The more we focus on the negative, the more we see the negative. And there's a lot of negativity out there, some of it in social media, some of it in the news, some of it in our lives. And we want to shift our focus from the negative to the positive. There are a lot of good things. A lot of good things in your life, a lot of good people around you. Look for the small gestures of kindness. Be grateful. Look for small gestures from nature. As spring arrives, begin to notice the changes in nature. Be grateful for warmer weather. Be grateful for company of a friend. Be grateful for gifts that you have, talents you have that are waiting to be expressed. And number 10 are herbs. Top up with herbs. And this is the point of this video. As a mental health herbalist, I recommend many herbs, and I have lots of videos on different herbs for depression, anxiety, and stress, and so forth. But I never think of herbs as being the only solution. Back to the top of this video where I talk about reductionism. Herbs alone will not solve your problem. Herbs are used complementary to complement all the other things like movement, improved diet, grounding, meditation, mindfulness, social connection. By using herbs, you can help to reduce stress, antispasmodics that relax muscles, hypnotics that bring calm and relaxation states to people that are very strong and stressed, sedatives that calm the nerves, herbs like valerian, skullcap, lemon balm, passion flower, borage. There's a whole wealth of videos on my channel that cover different herbs for stress, anxiety, and depression. Go check them out. But don't use herbs in isolation. Don't think herbs alone will solve your problem. They will help as part of a holistic solution. I hope you found these 10 tips useful. As I talk in future videos about different aspects of food and herbs and nutrition, I want you to always remember that it's in the context of this 10 principles, 10 tips of recovering from depression. Don't let anyone tell you that they have the solution for depression. You have the solution. You have to solve it by using various strategies, and I hope these strategies help you in this video. Drop me a comment in the comment section below if you've used any of these or what you think of any of these tips, or if you have questions for me for ideas for future videos, and I'd be really happy to engage with you there. Otherwise, see you in a video very soon. Take care. Bye.